CB on the mic. World Rule Talk. Yeah. CB break it down, yeah, the host with the vision. From the classics to the new, every film get precision. Obscure reels hitting gems, yeah, we dig in the vault. Every frame get examined, every angle we talk. From the old school grain to the high def shine. Indie flicks to the hits, yeah, we cover all time. If it's cinema gold, then you know we gon' say, hit subscribe, tap in, let the critics all play. Yeah, film talk strong, never fading away. World Rule Talk forever and a day longer.
Yo, what up though? This is your boy C dot to the B dot coming at y'all once again with another movie review. So, we're going to be talking about Mortal Kombat 2. I just came from the theaters from watching it. You know what I'm saying? If you hear any noise in the background, by the way, I just got to put it out there. It's my lady, you know. She's about to wash some clothes, and then the dog is following behind her. So, yeah, I'm just putting it out there, you know, for those who hear anything. But anyway, Mortal Kombat 2. Now, I've seen a lot of reviews on this movie, and I'm going to try my best to get through it without spoiling too much, because I feel like any fight scene in this movie could be a spoiler for anybody. But I'm going to do this because I feel like it's not fair to the ones who hadn't seen it yet. And I want y'all to form your own opinions. So, again, one scene that stood out to a lot of people, you know, from the reviews I watched. I done seen 1,000 different reviews on this movie before I went to go see it myself. Was the fight scene between Liu Kang and Kung Lao. Now, that fight scene was pretty freaking awesome. I can't even front. You know what I'm saying? It really was. Kung Lao, the way he was using his hat, you know what I'm saying? He tried his best to off Liu Kang, but you'll see, you know, the outcome whenever you watch the movie. That fight scene was dope. The choreography was great. But one of my favorite fight scenes that I did like was between Jade and Jax. That fight scene was dope. You know what I'm saying? I like how Jade used her bow staff. You know what I'm saying? But, and I'm going to say this too. I was just like everybody else when, you know, speaking of Jade, you know, I was asking myself, why did they make her bald? Or why was she bald? But, you know, after watching the movie, that really wasn't a problem. You know what I'm saying? I really didn't care too much. Because I felt like, you know, the actress that portrayed her, she was all right. You know what I'm saying? But I will say this though. I feel like, I'm just going to say this. I feel like they took a lot of stuff from MK11. And if y'all played that game, then you'll know what I'm talking about after watching the movie. You know what I'm saying? But Johnny Cage, played by Carl Urban, right? And I feel like, you know, when I first heard, like, the reviews and everything, people saying he was miscast and all that, I felt the same way before watching the movie, because I'm like, you know, Johnny Cage is supposed to be like this, you know, younger dude or whatever, but, you know what I'm saying, like a younger, cocky individual. But in this movie, like in the beginning, you know, he wasn't trying to hear anything Raiden had to say about the tournament. Well, at first he was down when he saw Raiden use his lightning to create a portal for them to step through. But, you know, when Sonya mentioned the fact that Kung Lao was murdered, you know, before the tournament took place, that's when Johnny Cage wanted to back out. You know what I'm saying? He didn't want no parts of it at all. But then later on in the movie, you know, where he fought Baraka, that's when I feel like, personally, the Johnny Cage from the games came out. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But this movie had a couple ass pulls too. I'm not going to say what they were. Y'all are going to find that out for yourselves. There were a couple ass pulls in this movie. I promise you that. And I was also disappointed when, Liu Kang, how can I say this? Let's just say that, Liu Kang wasn't one of the main characters. He wasn't the chosen one. I'm just gonna say that. You know what I mean? I was disappointed because there was a fight scene between him and Shao Kahn, which, if anybody played the games, Liu Kang beat Shao Kahn in Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. You know what I'm saying? And I'm just gonna say you might be a little disappointed in the outcome. Trust me. Now, Cole Young, everybody's favorite character, who has nothing to do with the video games. His very first fight in this movie, and I'm just going to say it, was against Khan. You know what I mean? And depending on who you are, what I say next, if you haven't seen the movie, is either going to please you or you might not care. So Shao Kahn, I'm going to say it anyway, but he kills off Cole Young. You know what I mean? The way he did it, though, it was kind of wrong. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you go back and watch the first movie with Cole, right? He's on this big-ass journey trying to unlock his arcana. And he does against Goro to protect his family. And he kills Goro. And he helps Scorpion kill Bihan, a.k.a. Sub-Zero. You know what I'm saying? And so he improved a lot from the start to the end of that movie. And in this movie right here, the way he was taken out, it was just like he was a regular NPC or something, or just a character that didn't matter at all. Like, his whole journey was basically for nothing in the first movie. You know what I'm saying? But another thing about this film, right? I hate to say this, but it was kind of a girl boss film. You know what I mean? And if you watch it, you'll know why I say that. I'm not going to tell you why I think that, but when you watch it, you're going to know exactly why I said that. And then it also plays into, one of the elements from MK11. So you'll see about that too. You know what I'm saying? Alright, so another part. Now I will say one of my favorite parts in this film was between Johnny Cage and Baraka. When they first got to the service area where the Tarkatans were, Baraka, he came out as this like serious, imposing character. You know what I'm saying? He was like the leader of the Tarkatans, of course. So Liu Kang challenged him in order for, him to help them. You know what I'm saying? But Baraka refused his challenge. And then Johnny Cage started talking straight trash. You know what I mean? And then Baraka turned around and, he decided to accept the challenge. But it wasn't with Liu Kang. It was with Johnny Cage instead. And Carl Urban, he's pretty funny. You know what I'm saying? He made me chuckle a few times in this movie. And so they had their fight scene. And afterwards, Baraka, he just became a comedic sidekick. Trust me when I say that. Comedic sidekick, really, though, is an understatement. He really became a joke after that fight. You know what I'm saying? But it was a good fight, though. It was a good fight. Let's see. Shao Kahn. Yo, this guy, the guy that plays Shao Kahn, yo, I'm telling you, that's a big motherfucker in real life. You know what I mean? The dude is like 6'8". So he's a big guy. You know what I mean? If you see pictures of him, you'll think it's like AI or something like that. But no, that's really him. The dude is huge. He was in some other stuff too. But he, Shao Kahn in this movie was straight ruthless, man. You know what I mean? Straight freaking ruthless. Like, he was just killing people without a second thought. You know what I mean? Anybody who challenged him did not survive. But I'm gonna say his character had a, disappointing output. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm trying not to spoil it for y'all, man. I'm trying not to, but I'm gonna say this about Shao Kahn, right? So he had Quan Chi bring Kano back to life just to retrieve the amulet. And when he absorbed the power from the amulet, because he took Raiden's power too. Now, I will say this though. I don't like what they did to Raiden in the beginning. You know what I'm saying? When Kung Lao showed up to fight Liu Kang and he threw his hat and it slit Raiden's throat, I didn't like that shit at all. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm like, yo, Raiden, he's a god. You know what I'm saying? The god of thunder. And he almost died from Kung Lao. You know what I'm saying? And so I was a little disappointed at that. But he didn't really die. You know what I mean? But he was close to it. But they brought Kano back to life just to get the amulet for Shao Kahn to, absorb Raiden's power and power the amulet into his body. So every time he fought somebody, right, they can, stab him in the throat. Because most of the characters that fought him was going for his throat. You know what I'm saying? He can heal himself. And that was some bull crap. You know what I mean? Like, but then again, Shao Kahn, he was opposing and he looked dangerous, but he kept getting his ass whooped. I'm going to say that. You know what I mean? But there's a lot of stuff about this movie. Again, it's hard for me to not spoil, but certain scenes just have to be talked about. But yeah, man, that's all I'm going to say about the movie. Later on, I'll come back and do a spoiler review. But this is all y'all get from me for now. You know what I mean? Because the movie is still kind of new, and I'm not trying to, mess it up for anybody. So, if you haven't seen Mortal Kombat 2, just give it a watch. Form your own opinions. Don't jump on a bandwagon, saying, oh, this movie's trash because you heard somebody else say it, because the internet is good for that. You know what I mean? But I will give it a score of a 6 out of 10. It's most certainly better than the first one, but it could use a little work. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they do a third film, they can definitely improve on this one for that one. So just check it out. Let me know what you think, and I will be back here next Wednesday with y'all for another movie review. So stay tuned for that, and I will talk to y'all later. All right, peace.